Part 23. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 221. Ying Sic's voice was calm and gentle. Qin Yanxi's chest felt as if something had stabbed her and it hurt. From now on, you will no longer be alone. Yeah, Ying Sici raised her head and smiled brightly. After a moment of pause, she said, "The clothes I made for you have been washed and should be dried by now. Do you want to try them?" "Try." Ying Sici took the clothes off the hanger on the balcony and handed them to him. "The banquet of Qin will be exchanged nearby." Ying Sici turned her head, a blush appeared on her cheeks. The young man was shirtless, revealing his muscular upper body. She said coquettishly, "You are not afraid of being seen by someone on the other side? Who goes into other people's homes in broad daylight?" Ying Sici pointed with her little hand, "Well, the old lady downstairs opposite looks at our building every day." Qin Yanxi glanced around and saw that there was an old lady wearing reading glasses at the window on the second floor opposite. She didn't know where to look at the window, so he hurried to the room. Ying Sici added, "There is a screen on the window of our house, and the other half of the glass reflects light, so she shouldn't be able to see it." Qin Yanxi said with a black face, "Are you kidding me?" Ying Sici grinned, "I don't dare." Qin Yanxi entered the room anyway, changed into clothes and walked out with a smile on his lips, "Loose and comfortable, not bad." Ying Sici couldn't help but nod. Tall people look good in anything they wear. "Tell me, do you want me to get one for my parents? Dad gave me a bicycle, and my mother often gives me nice clothes. I don't even get a cent. Isn't that stingy? No matter what they do, it is right for parents-in-law to give gifts to their daughter-in-law. In the future, they will still expect you to provide for them in old age. If you don't pay now, will you pay again when you are old? Who cares? What's more, this car may not have been given by Lao Qin." As for buying clothes, he remembered that when Lu Yuechun got married, his mother bought a lot for her. They are all daughters-in-law, why should they favor one over the other? Not to mention his wife is worthy. Ying Sici felt that he was not at all different from the men in his hometown in the countryside. "When the men in my hometown got married, they always told their wives that it was not easy for my mother to raise me, so you should be filial to her. If there is a conflict between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, no matter what is right or wrong, it is the daughter-in-law's fault. If it is excessive, she may even take action against the daughter-in-law at the instigation of the mother-in-law." His turn was completely different. He believes that parents' dedication to their children should be taken for granted. At dusk, Qin Yanjun came to the door, carrying large and small bags of gifts. "Sci, aren't you going back to your hometown? You take these with you." Ying Sici thought that Qin Yanjun didn't agree with her taking the old lady to Beijing, so she rushed to give gifts. It seemed that she was taking it seriously, but in fact she was reminding her to just give her something and don't bring anyone with her. She made it clear, "Dad, I have found a house for Grandma. She will not disturb anyone in the family. These things bring trouble." "Qin Yanjun, have you found a house so quickly? Where is it located? Is it convenient for her to live there when she is unfamiliar with the place? If not, she should live here. You can send gifts to your relatives." "I have no other relatives. The house is next to Tongzilu on the edge of Dongcheng district, on Guangming Road. It's a bit far, and the environment there is not as good as ours. Is it convenient to buy things around?" "The general living environment is indeed not very good, but I asked around and found that the public security is good. I like it very much. It's convenient for shopping," Ying Sici said. After hearing this, Qin Yanjun stopped raising any objections and started a new topic. "Are you two going to the black market?" Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 222. Ying Sici waved her hands hurriedly, We are all obedient and good citizens. We will never do anything that violates the regulations. Qin Yanjun smiled. She was shopping in the black market. Even the Shen family knew about it and she pretended to be in front of him. Really? Just don't go shopping. I heard 2 days ago that there was an on-duty officer who randomly arrested people, and now the whole city is investigating people who are taking advantage of their position for personal gain. I'm worried that you might encounter such people when you go shopping and be blackmailed. Yang Cixi immediately thought of herself. Had she been checking it a few days ago? Why didn't you find that person today? She knows this very well now. Fortunately she resisted. Otherwise, if you follow that man, you will suffer a certain loss. Mom bless you. Another lucky escape. Really? Dad, let me give you an analogy. If I pass by there in the future, who should I call if I encounter this kind of thing? Qin Yanjun, look for me and see if I can kill him. Even if his daughter-in-law buys something, the process is to notify her family members to pay a fine to redeem her. There is no one who would impound a car or someone. It was obvious that he was interested in seeing her as a little girl and wanted to take advantage of her. Yang Cixi felt confident. Qin Yanjun said again, Yancy, the shampoo you gave me is good. I have only used it once. When I saw it this morning, there were many green stubbles on my head. It seems that it can really grow my hair. Qin Yan's speech was incomprehensible. What is it? Yang Cixi said, you bought the shampoo for hair growth a while ago. When Qin Yan said goodbye, it turned out that his wife had given it to him in his name. She must have done a lot for him silently, but she didn't like to talk about it. She was so kind. Oh. Qin Yanjun said, where did you buy it? I'll buy 2 more bottles tomorrow. Your mother is going to use it too. I'll talk about it when I have time, Qin Yan said. Qin Yanjun curled his lips, not being as easy to talk to as his daughter-in-law. He put on a smile when facing Yang Cixi. Cixi, I'm going back first. When are you going back to your hometown? Send me a telegram to say you're safe. Okay, we should leave the day after tomorrow. Pay attention to safety. Qin Yanjun left. Yang Cixi sent him away and returned to collect gifts. Except for 2 bottles of famous wine, the rest are all kinds of snacks she likes to eat. She opened a box and tasted it. It was soft, glutinous, and sweet. What is this? It tastes so good. It's my first time to eat it. Dad said he would give something to his fellow villagers. I will finish it before returning to my hometown. You can try it. Qin Yan's words were quickly read, royal concubine cake. It was definitely not a gift from Lao Qin. Lao Qin sent snacks last time, and they were all bought at one store. These are different. There are some from Lao Jixiang shop, Daoxiang shop, and Suji. It is obvious that they have carefully searched for them. It should have been bought by Shen Yushan. He sees through things without telling them. Opened his mouth to bite the cake she brought to his mouth. Well, it tastes really good. Dad is really good to me. He even thinks about me returning to my hometown. I misinterpreted his meaning. Am I going too far? When he gets old, I will take good care of him, Yang Cixi said. Qin Yanxi smiled. Lao Qin would definitely not be happy without your biological father, so you don't mean to misinterpret his meaning. Just treat it with a normal attitude. The 2 chatted for a long time. The next day, Yang Cixi waited for the furniture of the new house to be brought in and arranged neatly, then went to the shopping mall to stroll around, preparing to give her sisters a set of clothes. She was a bit reluctant to part with dozens of items in the shopping mall. The prices were low, and the materials and styles were not too good for her. She visited many tailor shops before buying clothes and trousers that she liked. She took them home and started preparing dry food for the road. Qin Yanxi came back from outside when he was making noodles. When he saw this, he smiled and said, "It's a day's drive, and there are so many noodles. Do you want to make steamed buns or flatbreads? Can you finish it on the way? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 223. Big Bread, I'm thinking of spending a few days there. I'm worried that you won't be used to the food there, and I don't want to eat it. The only things in the countryside are brown rice and sorghum. Who would want to eat coarse grains after having tasted fine grains? Is this enough? How can I help? That's enough. I'll buy some more pastries when I leave tomorrow. I don't need your help, I'll do it myself. Ying Sisi mixed the noodles and waited for them to be served. Then she washed the beef and prepared to make beef sauce. When the sauce was ready, the noodles were also served. While kneading the dough, Aunt's son came to the door. Sisi, your dad is here. He said the guard wouldn't let him in. I told him to lead him here, but he insisted on letting you pick him up. Ying Sisi guessed that the person outside was Li Junlu. What was he doing? I understand, Auntie, don't make the decision to bring him in next time. He is not my father. It turns out that I admitted my mistake. Can you come in and sit down? Aunt's son was stunned. Did Dad still admit his mistake? She didn't want to worry about other people's affairs, so she smiled and said, No, I just got off work and I have to be busy cooking. What does your family make so delicious? Is it the stewed meat? Beef sauce, please wait a moment. Ying Sisi turned around and walked into the kitchen, taking out a bottle of sealed beef sauce from the bowl. I just made it. It's slightly spicy and goes well with rice. You can try it. Aunt's son doesn't like to take advantage of others, so she refused and said, What's the point of it? I've endured a lot, you take it. Aunt's son was no longer polite, thank you. Ying Sisi sent Aunt's son away and decided to meet Li Junlu. She washed her hands and went out. Li Junlu came forward to greet her with a solemn expression. Sisi, my tone was a little harsh a few days ago, so don't worry. There was no trace of emotion on Ying Sisi's face. From her tone, she probably reported Shen Yushan to no avail, but was punished instead. What a waste of money. Speak directly and don't beat around the bush. Li Junlu cleared his throat. For the sake of me finding a good in-law for you, can you come to your biological father and say a few good words for me? I really admired your mother back then. When I heard about this, only when he was anxious would he get angry at you. Ying Sisi admired his shamelessness and loved his mother, so she left home for 20 years after the wedding. His admiration is so cheap. Don't mention the matter of marrying your husband's family, okay? Asi's achievements are not because of your discerning eyes, but because you didn't expect it. Even if you are my biological father, you have tricked me into marrying into the city. I don't owe you anything since I'm a human being, let alone we have nothing to do with each other. You are not qualified to decide my marriage. Mom took advantage of you and helped you return to the city. She never looked for you again. We, mother and daughter, owe nothing to you. Li Junlu's anger, which he had finally suppressed, jumped up again. Don't we owe each other? Your mother and I have a wine business, and every village in the country knows that you are my daughter. Can you deny it in just a few words? Ying Sisi was extremely glad that she did not listen to his advice and change her surname. Otherwise, this would be a good time to solidify his relationship with his mother. Can't deny it? She said, we are in Yanjing, not in the countryside. Who knew that you and my mother were having a banquet? Unless you go back to the countryside and say it yourself, my biological father probably won't be happy to hear it. If I were you, leaving me, and he lived his life peacefully from afar. Li Junlu has enjoyed the benefits brought by power, so how can he want to be ordinary? Are you really not human at all? Yang Sisi still said the same thing, I don't owe you anything. Don't come to me again in the future. I'm very tired of you. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 224. Li Junlu was so angry that he almost jumped up. Are you tired of him? He is even more tired. A good home is in a mess. He couldn't control Yang Sisi and Shen Yushan, so he spread his anger on Li Yue. Run home and have a tantrum with his friend. I asked you to marry Qin Yanci, but you must have free love. Now it's better. Because that Yang Sisi climbed up a high branch to take revenge on me, I was demoted 2 levels in a row. Many people laughed at me. Li Yue is now thinking about marrying Feng Shuangzi, because Feng Shuangzi secretly visited her after she was discharged from the hospital yesterday. She originally wanted to tell the other person that she was pregnant and had a miscarriage. He preemptively said that after a while, he would be able to marry her with pride. She speculated that Feng Shuangzi's business was about to be completed, and she regained confidence in him. So he told him that he was going to get married in advance. Listening to Li Junlu's complaint at this moment, she said confidently, Dad, a person's success does not depend on how high he stands, but how low he can squat. Don't think you are underestimated now. Feng Shuangzi will have a future. You will definitely be able to follow suit. Li Junlu almost vomited blood. You still count on Feng Shuangzi when you are desperate. You don't even take a look at Feng Shuangzi's appearance. He has 2 dark circles under his eyes all day long and looks listless. Which promising person is like him? You know Qin Yanci, his father? Only those people who sleep only 5 or 6 hours a day and work and read the rest of the time can be successful. Qin Yanci was admitted to Yenching University, which shows that he is more capable than his father. You said forget it, the mud can't hold up the wall, you can marry if you want. They have all been pregnant with other people's children. If you don't marry Feng Shuangzi, who will? Li Yue cried with joy, Dad, when Feng Shuangzi becomes successful in the future, he will definitely make decisions for you. Not to mention the Qin family, Yang Sisi's biological father in the investigation team can also deal with it. In another 2 years, Feng Shuangzi will be able to complete the initial accumulation of wealth. He will be out of control. Open a big hotel. Let's take a look at the major factories that are on the verge of closing down. He once said in front of the media that he can make money faster than a money printing machine. Yang Sisi reminded him to keep a low profile. This time, she will stand by his side and be the one to remind him. Let's talk about Yang Sisi. Even if Qin Yanci gets better in this life, Yang Sisi will not be able to have children. Because in the previous life, Yang Sisi was not born. When I was in my 30s, I adopted a baby boy from a foreign country. When he grew up, he would never call Feng Shuangzi dad when he appeared in public, but would call him Lao Feng. In this life, she will give birth to a son for Feng Shuangzi to make up for his regrets in his previous life and let him enjoy the happiness of a family. Li Junlu rolled his eyes and almost rolled his eyes to the sky. Thank God that Feng Shuangzi could have a serious job, and he could also deal with the Qin family and the Shen family. Daydreaming. He walked away. In the family home, Yang Sisi baked 10 large cakes, and Qin Yanci ate 2 of them. You have such a good appetite today, if you had known I would bake more. What you cook is delicious. Qin Yanci still had some unfinished meaning, when you come back from the south, you can cook more. Okay, that's enough. The 2 of them packed their luggage while chatting, took a rest early, and caught the train early to head to the south. The berth Qin Yanci bought had 4 berths in a room. Yang Sisi sat down on the berth near the window and watched the scenery outside. The leaves only sprouted a little new buds. Yang Sisi said, this season in our hometown, the fragrance of flowers has filled the mountains and plains. Rabbits are the easiest to hunt in the mountains. Do you eat rabbit meat? Eat. I'll catch you later. Qin Yancy looked at her and smiled. Okay, let's come back before the beginning of the month. Okay, it's not convenient to leave a message on the way. Please vote. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 225. Okay, Ying Cixi agreed. She didn't want to stay for a long time, so after chatting, she took out a book to pass the time. At this time, two conductors entered the compartment. Qin Yancy thought that the other conductor had exchanged the ticket. When he was about to get the ticket, the two of them bent down to look under the bunk. After they left, Ying Cixi raised her eyes, covered her mouth and whispered, "These two people look like they are looking for something. Did someone lose their bag?" She pointed to the upper bunk with her little finger. "Put our bags on the bunk. We will sleep at night. It won't be stolen, right?" Although there were no valuables inside, there was a lot of food. Except for flatbread beef sauce. There are also a lot of dried noodles. When converted into money, it is not cheap either. It's not like two people are looking for a lost bag. Maybe someone's child has been stolen, or someone's wife has disappeared. A beautiful woman like you, in the eyes of those people, is equivalent to a walking unity. One person never trusts strangers when you go out. No matter how strong you are, you can't stop the poison in the hands of those people, Qin Yancy said seriously. I've heard a little bit about it too. At 4 o'clock in the morning the next day, the train arrived in Yunhe County. Ying Cixi and Qin Yancy got off the bus and took the car out of the station at night. Stand at the exit. Immediately, people gathered around me and asked if I could stay. Qin Yancy could not understand the southern dialect and remained silent. He has a cold face, and others dare not approach him. We won't be staying, thank you. Ying Cixi identified the specific direction and led Qin Yancy to the west. After a while, they were the only ones left around. Daughter-in-law, how far is it approximately? It's 50 or 60 miles away. It's almost a day's walking. Thank you for your hard work. Qin Yancy, it's not hard work. Ying Cixi, there are still uncles and aunts in my hometown, but I have severed ties with them. When we get to the village, we can only stay at grandma's house. Her house is very remote. We have to climb 2 mountains before entering the village. Qin Yancy, it doesn't matter. As long as you are here, I will walk no matter how far it is. Ying Cixi laughed. Actually, you don't have to walk that far. There is a bus to our house, but it's only half the way. Let's go first. Wait for the car to arrive after dawn. Good. It was a long road, but the two of them didn't feel far away as they talked. After the sky was bright, the first bus passed by. Ying Cixi stopped him and he and Qin Yancy got on the bus together. They got off at the end and continued on, walking about 10 miles. Ying Cixi pointed to the village ahead and said, "Did you see the old locust tree at the entrance of the village? That's our village. I see it, it's so beautiful here, green mountains and green water, smoke curling up from cooking stoves. Like the pastoral described in poetry. It's just that the scenery is good, life has to be in the city." Ying Cixi walked out, not wanting to come in again. After the two of them entered the village, Ying Cixi approached the old locust tree. I was about to erase Li Junlu's name, but when I got closer, I found that only my mother's name was left. Who did it? Just what she wanted. ACI, this is my mother's name. Qin Yancy glanced at him. Who gave you your name? It's from my grandma. Have you heard of Bao Si? The beloved concubine of King Yu of Zhou dynasty among the princes in Fenghuo opera. She said that she hoped that all the men I met when I grow up would be as mindless as King Yu and let me take control of her. I told her later that I haven't come up with a good name, but you are obviously very smart and a top talent. Qin Yancy rubbed his knuckles against the tip of his nose to cover up his embarrassment. After meeting her, he was indeed pinched by her. So, her name is correct. Sci. A slightly thick female voice came from the side. Yang Sisi looked back. Is Aunt Ding, who lives at the entrance of the village. One of the people she hates most. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 226. Are you going to the city to live a good life? You're so dressed up. I almost didn't recognize you. Are you coming back to pick up your uncle and his family to live a good life in the city? Aunt Ding shouted, holding her head high and shouting, look who is back from our village. Neighbors in the mountains live far apart. Aunt Ding's voice did not call anyone. She laughed dryly, turned her gaze, and her eyes shone, yo. This guy is not bad looking. He is more handsome than the people in the movie. Look at his head and figure. Is he your partner? Can I introduce him? He's my partner. He can't understand what you said. Yang Sisi didn't intend to talk to Aunt Hua anymore. Aunt Ding clicked her tongue and exclaimed, your mother had the foresight to find a man from the city and let her daughter become a city man and marry her husband's family who is also from the city. You will enjoy all the blessings in the future. Yang Sisi would rather her mother did not choose Shen Yushan and live a safe and smooth life. But when others praise her mother, she naturally agrees, yes, my mother is a visionary. Are you going home now? I'll take you there to find your uncle. Aunt Ding enthusiastically led the way. Yang Sisi squinted impatiently, I don't have an uncle, so I plan to stay at Grandma Zhu's house at the foot of the mountain today. Aunt Hua said, I heard that she has found a concubine. You should stay away from her to avoid getting into trouble. Is your uncle a relative of yours or is he reliable? Whoever treats me well is my relative. My uncle is no longer my relative. Helped Aunt Po to find families for her at will, and accepted bride price from other families to find a wife for her cousin, completely ignoring her wishes. Not even Li Junlu can compare. Father, mother, uncle, break the bones and connect the tendons. It doesn't mean you say no, and the conditions of the marriage your uncle found for you are much better than those of your family. Although you are not from the city, you can go there. Let's go to the city, Aunt Ding said earnestly. Okay. Then when your area is looking for a partner, remember to send her to her uncle's house and ask her uncle to help her find an old bachelor who is older than her father in exchange for a bride price for your natal nephew to marry. Yang Sisi said. Aunt Ding gritted her teeth after hearing this. You girl, how can you talk? You don't know what is good or bad, she said to Qin Yan. Young man, this girl killed her mother when she was born. She has a hard life. You and let's go together, be careful, she said and ran away. Yang Sisi picked up stones and threw them at the opponent. Her hands shook in anger and she missed. Qin Yanxi didn't understand. Seeing that Yang Sisi was annoyed, he bent down to pick up a bigger stone and help her hit it. Yang Sisi hurriedly stopped her. ACI, I'm joking, don't throw it away. The village chief won't care about the small quarrels between fellow villagers in the village. If you hurt someone, you will be in trouble. Qin Yanxi, are you really joking? Her tone sounded like she was cursing someone. Well, because my mother had a difficult delivery, they said that my life was too hard to beat my mother, and also you. I was a little angry. Are you afraid? If you overcome it, you will overcome it, Qin Yanxi said nonchalantly. If you die immediately, why would you call me a man? It's inherently dangerous for women to have children, and it's not your fault. Yang Sisi laughed happily as the gloom in her heart disappeared. The two of them walked deeper into the village and soon saw an isolated farmhouse. ACI, that's my grandma's house. When I was a kid, I made my grandma angry. She chased me with a broom, so I ran here to hide. Grandma Ying Sisi shouted to the small courtyard, "Sisi is back, I have a partner." Shouted several times. An old lady wrapped in a cotton coat came out of the yard with steady steps. Looked around. Ying Sisi called out again. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 227. The old lady couldn't see clearly and squinted her eyes. When she got closer, she recognized Ying Sisi and smiled with a smile on her face. "Sisi, I haven't seen you for half a year, and you are getting more and more beautiful." She turned her eyes to Qin Yanci, looked at him for a long time, and then said in Mandarin, "Yushin is here too. Why does he seem a little taller after not seeing him for a few days?" Qin Yanci introduced himself. "Hello Grandma, I am Sic's partner. My surname is Qin and my given name is Yanci." The smile on the old lady's face faded. The target, she pulled Ying Sisi into the room and whispered, "Did the man named Li find him for you? I'm telling you that he can't do anything good with you. Does your biological father know? Sisi, do you recognize your biological father? Is your real father as handsome and brave as I said? He came here some time ago and said he knew about your existence. He explained that he was seriously injured due to a mission and forgot about your mother. He only vaguely remembered the agreement with her. He has been looking for you for many years. It turns out that he has already seen you. He did find me, but I didn't recognize him. Why don't you admit it? Your mother was still talking about him before she left." Ying Sisi felt sour in her heart. "Can't you just admit it if you don't want to admit it? Who told him to forget his mother, and who told him that he couldn't find me?" The old lady sighed. As soon as she saw Shen Yushin, she knew that he was no ordinary person. Have warned Shuyan to come closer to him. That girl will not listen. If you don't want to listen, just don't listen, and do things with others in advance. If you are pregnant and can't wait for someone to come, you think there is a reason for that person, so you still call her name before leaving. She was done with it and left the child with her parents. Simply unfilial. It harms both the parents and the children. Sisi is beautiful and has attracted people's attention since she was a child. If her grandparents hadn't protected her until her wings became hard, how could she have grown up innocently? She did not continue to persuade, but she caught sight of Qin Yanci's shadow from the corner of her eye. "You come here and let me take a look." Qin Yanci, Ying Sisi's eyes signaled him to come forward. Qin Yanci approached. The old lady reached out and touched his face. "Hey, he's really good looking. His eyebrows and nose are more handsome than any nobleman I saw when I was young." Qin Yanci's face darkened. A nobler young master than she has ever seen? Aren't they people who visit flower houses? Who do you think he is? Can it be a metaphor? Upon seeing this, Ying Sisi immediately pulled off the old lady's hand. "Grandma, this is my man, don't touch it blindly." In response to Sisi's words, "My man," she coaxed Qin Yanci back to health. His expression changed from cold to warm, and there was a smile in his eyes. The old lady lowered her hands reluctantly. "I can't see." "Please come less, the old woman is not blind. If you stay a little further away, you will definitely be able to see clearly, including the fact that he just recognized Qin Yanci as Shen Yushin. He must have deliberately tested her attitude. The human spirit." The old lady cleared her throat. "Stay here tonight, I still have your room, and I'll make a bed for you right away." "I'll do it myself," Ying Sisi said. Qin Yanci helped clean up the debris on the bed, unpacked the boxes and laid out quilts. The old lady leaned on the table and watched the young couple busy. "Some people at home should be more lively. Looking at you young people, I feel a lot younger." "Then do you want to see me every day?" "Of course I wanted to. What? You and your partner want to stay with me," the old lady said jokingly. Ying Sisi said, "I have prepared a small house for you over there to retire in. You are childless here. If you get sick one day, you won't be able to call anyone if you want. It's different in the city. You have neighbors on both sides. Many people take care of you. If you don't go, you'll have to die if you get sick, the old lady said without hesitation. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 228. Someone has to collect the body for you, otherwise it will be miserable. Whether I take it or not, I'll be dead anyway. Yang Cixi couldn't refute, I still want to be with you. My partner agrees, and his father also said that he will follow my arrangements. So good. Did the man named Li find your in-laws? The old lady asked as if seeking confirmation. Finally, I did a good thing, the old lady said. I went to Yanjing during the war. The winter there was too cold, the summer was hot, and the spring and autumn were dry. I couldn't adapt to it. Although the winter here it's also cold, but it's not even 10 or 20 degrees below zero. I don't know how pleasant it is to eat wild cantaloupe when the midsummer evening breeze blows. I'm here. If you miss me, come and see me every year when you visit your mother's grave. Don't be sad for me if you can't see me any year. I went to find my mother. The word mother. Yang Cixi's eyes became wet. Are you really not going? The old lady simply said, I won't go. She explained the reason. It's not because I'm afraid of dragging you down. I've been looking for this place for a long time, and I really like it here. Although the people in the village don't welcome me, if I say something, everyone will help. Either how do you think I lived alone for so many years? The simple folk customs in the village are not comparable to those in the city. Yang Cixi said no longer reluctantly, yet. The old lady said again, have you eaten yet? I'll make some for you. There is an ugly old man in the next village. His wife is dead and he insists on living with me. I don't agree. He always sends me things to eat later. After dinner, please help me return these things. You are too old to be honest. Yang Cixi looked in the direction pointed by the old lady and saw some local specialties. She joked, it shows that you are very charming. Don't be so talkative. The old lady came closer to answer Cixi and whispered, let your partner go out, and I will have a few words with you alone. Oh, Yang Cixi dismissed Qin Yanci, ACI, can you help pick up some firewood and pick some vegetables? Just pick up some nearby. Okay. Qin Yan resigned and went out. The old lady said, I don't feel very good about you, I'm very aggressive. He didn't even say a few words. How could you tell that he was angry? Based on my countless experiences with people, you should be careful. In fact, it's okay, he may not be able to beat you. Yang Cixi laughed out loud, it's hard to say. My partner is very energetic and his strength is no less than mine. His sleep time is shorter than mine. Let him rest and he will lie on the bed tossing and turning. It's good to be energetic. It means you will be successful. The old lady changed her impression instantly and continued, if you do some work and call yourself tired, it's useless no matter how diligent you are. If you can't keep up with your physical strength, it's useless. If you have high energy, you can work hard. Are you pregnant now? Yang Cixi took a second to understand what the old lady meant. She blushed and said, no, the partner doesn't want to give birth. Not giving birth? That's great. Having more children hurts the mother. Maybe I just misjudged him. He is a very good husband. The old lady's good impression of Qin Yanci improved a bit. Yang Cixi added, he is still a student of Yanjing University and has just passed the exam. The old lady said 3 good things in a row, if your uncle finds out about this, he will lick his face and come to flatter you. Who cares about him? The old man and the young man chatted for a long time, and then Yang Cixi remembered Qin Yan's speech. He has gathered firewood, picked vegetables, and washed them with water. Yang Cixi took out the noodles from her bag and boiled water to cook the noodles. The old lady curled her lip. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 229. I don't want you to spend money. If you follow me into the city, I will make you pasta every day. I understand. The old lady smiled kindly. When will you return to the city? Leave before the end of the lunar calendar. Ying Sisi was not in a hurry. She was also planning to dig Polygonum multiflorum to make hair growth cream. But Qin Yanxi seemed to be very concerned about the time of return, and there were more people than usual in the first few days of the month. She was worried that leaving him late would make him unhappy. She didn't want to make him unhappy. The old lady flipped through the calendar. Ying Sisi, can't you see it? The old lady was silly and happy. Today is only the 19th, and there are about 10 days left before the end of the month. It's still early. But at the end of the month, we have the Qingming festival and a banquet. Why don't you accommodate Sisi and stay here? You don't need to worship ancestors at home. There is no shortage of me, Qin Yanxi said. The old lady forgot to switch to Mandarin and asked curiously, do you understand the dialect? Your accent is different from the local one. If you listen carefully, you can understand the general meaning, Qin Yanxi said. The old lady praised him for his intelligence and his talent for languages. That's a great prize. Qin Yan's words were neither humble nor arrogant. After a meal, the old lady ordered Ying Sisi to go to the back mountain to dig spring bamboo shoots. After Ying Sisi dug it, he searched everywhere for Polygonum multiflorum, recognized the dead leaves of Polygonum multiflorum, and started digging along the branches and vines. The thin, oval fruit was quickly dug out. One is not enough, right? In the small courtyard of the farmhouse, Qin Yanxi took the initiative to take care of the housework. The old lady nodded in appreciation and asked next to him, how many brothers do you have? What do your parents do? He talked well and was a college student, so his family conditions must be good. Moreover, Li Junlu couldn't afford it early. This Sic's marriage will definitely help his future to take a further step. I don't know how Shen Yushan dealt with Li Junlu. There is an elder brother above his father is in charge of Dongcheng district of Yanjing, and his mother is the director of the highway management unit. Qin Yanxi answered all questions. The old lady was satisfied and said, it sounds quite impressive. She paused and said, how does Sic's biological father compare to your father? It's not a comparison, Qin Yanxi added. You don't have to worry about Sisi being wronged in our family. The old lady raised her eyebrows, and it was easy to talk to smart people. As soon as she mentioned it, he understood her intention. Ying Sisi returned with a basket of bamboo shoots and 2 large Polygonum multiflorum in her hand. The old lady took a look and said, Sisi, what are you carrying in your hand? It's black blonde. Polygonum multiflorum, it is said that this can grow hair. I plan to make a hair growing ointment and bring it to the city to sell. The old lady took Ying Sisi to a place where she could talk easily. Yanxi's family's conditions are so good, what kind of business are you doing? Asking them to find you a private tutor to teach you how to read and write is the right way. Ying Sisi, while reading, I learned a lot of words. I also gave me a suggestion. After I know all the common words, I can get a driver's license through my father-in-law and work in a transportation unit. At that time, it will be easier to familiarize yourself with the buying and selling matters by running around the city for transportation. The old lady was relieved and said with a smile, you are really a good partner. You said earlier that people are violent. It is true that he is violent, but he is also protective. After the old lady's impression of Qin Yanxi improved, her shortcomings became advantages, and she became more and more pleased with him. You are lucky, Li Junlu did not leave such a person to his daughter. Does his daughter have a partner? Yes, Ying Sisi mentioned Li Yue, started chatting, and spoke ill of her for a long time. Until Qin Yanci reminded him, daughter-in-law, it's getting late, do you want to rest? Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 230. Ying Sisi took a look at the sky and said, it's broad daylight. Let's help Grandma send these things back first. Old lady, when you get there, you say you are my granddaughter and don't agree with me and him. He won't retaliate against you because of love, right? I bet he wouldn't dare. The old lady didn't take it to heart at all. She kept scolding, damn this old man, he's looking for someone even before my wife's bones are cold. It's shameless. I guess he's going to him too if he's looking for me. Homeworker. Ying Sisi laughed as she listened, and followed the old lady's instructions to the next village to return the local specialties with Qin Yanci. Hence, before you have gone 2 miles away, you will meet your uncle and his family. SISI Uncle Ying Shijian's eyes filled with tears, and he strode forward, I haven't seen you for so long, but I'm worried to death. How are you in the city? I heard your Aunt Ding say that you have a partner, this is it. He looked at Qin Yanci. Qin Yan's face was as cold as frost, and he looked at him. He was frightened and couldn't help but take a step back. His eyes turned back to SISI, SISI, you are such a vicious person. Ying Sisi raised his eyes. Qin Yanci understood the word Sisi. According to Ying Shijian's tone and attitude, he softened his expression and smiled at her fondly. The sunlight hitting his face made him even more gentle and handsome. Her heart skipped a beat, she smiled back, and denounced Ying Shijian, who is so evil. The relationship between us is as solid as a city wall, and it cannot be provoked by a few words of yours. Ying Shijian was stunned. The speed with which this boy changes his face is comparable to turning the pages of a book. She looked back at her daughter-in-law Siequilin. Siequilin has already spoken, Sisi, I heard from your Aunt Ding that you can't do it if you want to wish the old lady there. Your uncle and I are your natal family. We live in her house. People in the village are not allowed to poke fun at me and your uncle Backbone. Ying Sisi said calmly, have you been poked in the back a lot? Did you hear the loudspeaker named Ding say that I carried a lot of things and you want to divide them up? Siequilin's smile froze on her face, Sisi, you have thought about it? We are purely thinking about you. If there is a wild man in the old lady's family, if you are with her, your good reputation will be ruined. Ying Sisi passed them and walked forward. Seeing that it didn't make sense, Siequilin turned to Qin Yan and said, what's your name? How much dowry did you give SISI? How much dowry did SIC's father give back? We'll weigh it for you. Don't make it less, or let others take it. Stop talking about our parents being stingy. Qin Yanci lowered his eyelashes and remained silent. Ying Sisi took over the words, are you weighing it for us, or do you want to divide it? Stop pretending, if you have anything to say, just say it, and I can solve it for you in one go. Siequilin showed off her cards, since you said so, I'm not afraid to settle the score with you in front of my new uncle. She clapped her fingers and said, you didn't have rations when you were just born. I invited my mother-in-law to give birth. My sister-in-law came over to feed you for 3 months, and it cost 50 cents to eat and drink for one person a day, right? Second brother, you study a lot, how much does it cost? The second child of the Ying family thought hard for a while, 30 days in a month, 50 cents a day, 150 cents in 1 month, 450 cents in 3 months. SISI, 450 yuan, you remember it first. Also, when you were sick when you were a child, your grandparents asked us to pay you to treat you. Let's count it as 100 yuan for you. That's 550 yuan. And you, the house we lived in originally belonged to us. I heard that we can rent a house in the city for a month.